5 things a stupid man always says. If you want to know a man's character, don't look at his wealth, his clothes, or even his achievements. Look at his words. A man's tongue is the window to his mind. The Stoics often reminded us that speech is the mirror of the soul, and just as rotten fruit reveals the health of the tree, careless words reveal the weakness of the mind. Today on Stoic True Wisdom, we uncover 5 things a foolish man always says. These are phrases that strip away the mask and reveal ignorance, arrogance, and insecurity. And if you recognize these words in yourself, it is a call to change, and if you hear them from others, it is a warning of who you are dealing with. 1. It's not my fault. The first cry of a weak man is always blame. Whenever life challenges him, his instinct is not reflection but accusation, as he points the finger at fate, at society, at his family, at luck, and at anything but himself. True strength begins the moment a man stops running from responsibility, because responsibility is not a burden but a training ground for discipline, humility, and courage. When a strong man fails, he asks, what can I learn? When he stumbles, he asks, how can I rise stronger? When he is wronged, he asks, what is still within my control? Blame is easy, but it keeps you powerless, and ownership is hard, but it makes you unstoppable too. I already know that. The second mark of foolishness is arrogance disguised as knowledge. A stupid man closes his ears with this phrase because it makes him feel superior while keeping him small. He interrupts wisdom by saying, I already know that. Yet a mind that refuses to listen becomes a mind that refuses to grow. Wisdom requires humility, and the wise man understands that every lesson, even one he has heard before, carries new depth and new insight when he approaches life as a lifelong student. The man who says, I already know, chooses the illusion of mastery over the reality of progress, but the wise man knows that the greatest breakthroughs are often hidden inside what we think we already understand. 3. That's impossible. This phrase reveals defeat before the battle begins. 2. The foolish man challenges appear as walls, and instead of trying, he quits, and instead of daring, he shrinks. He convinces himself something cannot be done, not because it is truly impossible, but because he lacks discipline, patience, and resilience. The wise man understands that most impossibilities are simply limits of imagination, and that effort itself is meaningful, since every step into difficulty shapes character. A man who always says that's impossible dies many small deaths, but the man who says let me try discovers possibilities others never dare to chase. For I don't care. This phrase seems harmless but reveals deep weakness. The Stoics taught noble indifference, but noble indifference means letting go of what is outside your control while caring deeply about character, effort, integrity, and purpose. When a foolish man says I don't care, he is hiding fear, laziness, and a lack of direction. He uses those words to escape responsibility while convincing himself that apathy is strength, but apathy is decay. A wise man cares about the things that matter: his growth, his actions, his decisions, and the legacy he leaves behind, because caring for the right things gives life meaning. 5. What's in it for me? This phrase exposes selfishness at its core. The foolish man sees everything as a transaction, measuring every act by personal gain, viewing friendship, loyalty, kindness, and service as investments that must pay back something. But true strength comes from contribution, not exploitation, and a man who lives only for himself lives a very small life. A wise man understands that meaning comes from what you give to the world, not from what you take, and that fulfillment grows when actions benefit the greater whole. A man who only asks what's in it for me dies empty even if he owns everything, while the man who asks what can I give dies fulfilled even if he owns nothing. Words are not just sounds, they are reflections of the mind and habits of thought made audible. A foolish man exposes his weakness through the phrases he repeats, but a wise man, guided by self-awareness, discipline, and virtue, speaks with humility, responsibility, and clarity. At Stoic True Wisdom, we believe that when your language rises, your character follows, and when your character rises, your entire life transforms. If you gained value from this, subscribe to Stoic True Wisdom for more life-changing lessons so we can walk together on a path of strength, discipline, purpose, and inner peace.